Hello, hello! I've been waiting for you. I'm Taren S, an old school Southern conjuring witch, and this is the House of Witchcraft. I hope you find empowerment, encouragement, and inspiration in all my videos. Hello, hello, Crossroads witches and other interesting magical beings. Today, we're walking through the door into my personal space, into my office, and also my library. Several of you have inquired about the books. You've seen pictures in some of my videos and other places. I do have another bookshelf, but we're just going to work on this one bookshelf today. I hope you enjoy. So this is my workspace office area, and you can see my desk, which is a little messy right now, my board. But so many of you have asked about my books, what books to read, what books do I read. And we just recently put a new floor down, and I had to take all these books down. And let me get closer. But they've just recently gone back up on the bookshelf. And so I thought that I would sit here and give a little overview of some of the books, some of my books, what's on my bookshelf. I have been reading books for witchcraft, occult, magic, really all sorts of books now I'm 58 years old. The very, very first book I got, is this one right here. I was just recently showing her off, and this is H.o.W.'s Witches. I think I was 15 years old, and let's see here, when she was published. H.o.W. Where is you? Just 1981 is when this was the very first fancy book. I have other books. Oops, sorry guys. Other books, but that's my very first. When people ask me, what's your first witchcraft? H.o.W. And then my other very first witchcraft book, it would be in this section here, and which is my first magic books, because at the time for us, magic was a little different. I'll pull those out in just a second. We used to get these in the back of magazines where it would be like magical power. But we're going to start in the top corner here. All right. I'm still getting my sections. So this is some of my traditional witchcraft, academic books that you will see Owen Davies, Ronald Hutton, Brian Hoggard, Carlos Grinsberg, are those, and they're good books. Over here, it leans more into an occultism section. Although he shouldn't be here, I'm still working on those. This is more of your high magic occultism. And then, of course, the Judith Elks books, which I like and I don't like. I like them, but I don't like the fact that she puts all the information together and doesn't actually really cite individual sources. And so sometimes I'm like, where did this information come from? I want to know where it's from. Now over here is more into traditional witchcraft, I guess, with leaning in again still towards some high magic tones. Here is some history type books, exploring more of the schism with pagans and Christianity. And here's some more of my other books. I'm like looking, thinking I've still got some work on organization, all right, with those. Of course, down here on the next section is my love of cemeteries and all things dead. So that deals with more dead stuff. This is my book of what I call the dearly departed. This deals with the dying side of it. This is more of the dark witchcraft, and these are different encyclopedias of witchcraft, and which I like, and I'm, yes, sort of maybe. Now on this side over here is more of a little altar space. This is a working space. I'm constantly working with it. One of my, here we go. All right. Robart, as we all know him, Raymond Buckland, sent that to me when I was 18 years old, and it is a token. I ended up getting to know him and have stories as far as he's concerned. Wonderful man. Raymond Buckland is amazing. Robert, the magic man, the guy you sit next to, is even more amazing. So let's go to the next bookshelf. Now down in here, you start seeing my hoodoo, voodoo, conjuring, folk magic, and which is, some of them I really, really like. Of course, I'm going to say New World Witchery. I highly, highly recommend. And I just recently, this one's sitting up here because I just recently reread it. It is Natural Witchery by Helen Dugan. And this is an older book, but what I find fascinating is that some of the newer books we have out today, they're saying what she said, and this, she's really nice. I don't know, oh, let me see if I can't get her back in, but I have her sitting there because I really like that book. And of course, Zora Neale Hurston. If you are conjuring hoodoo, wanting to know about American folk magic, I can't recommend that book enough. All right, of course, for me, Low Country, South Carolina, Southern Conjuring, Magic Island deals with Haitian voodoo, great book. Here is part of the Middleton books within folk magic. And then The Long Lost Friend is, we all have those if we're into it. This leans more into contemporary paganism. That's another different section over there. And then we go over to the fun side. This is sigils, symbols, fun things to do. I would say I really, really like the Book of Sacred Scriptures. Now over here we start leaning into herbs, herbology, as you can tell from, oops, let me move that out of the way. From my collection, I like plants. This is different varieties. Here's our little section on Sabbats that I have, because I do have a group organization. We do open Sabbats, and that is something within contemporary paganism, not within folklore, and sometimes blending them at times. All right, now we're gonna go down, and this is more into the contemporary paganism area. Of course, Valente, Um, and I just, anything with Doreen Valente within contemporary paganism, I think is amazing. Some of the other ones, as I look at the titles when I was putting them back on the bookshelf, I was like, yeah, I just ultimately, they did not age well. Now, I told you that we would look at the little pamphlets. All right, witches, I told you I'd show you the stack of pamphlets, my very first witchcraft book, which is actually this book, you can tell. I would have purchased this book sometime around 1981. We used to get it through the mail order, and these were the books that I got in this time period where people are like, what are your first witchcraft books? Mine were based more within the hoodoo, conjuring realm, and so this is what I was exposed to, all right, early on in my practice. Of course, Anna Riva, again, the Seven Powers. I think that there's a third one, but I never got it. Again, Anna Riva. And then, of course, the Magic of Marie Laveau. Ooh, Voodoo Book of Crossroads, that's a whole other. Papa Jim was very, very popular. You can tell, like, in the contemporary pagans, the folks that come in via Wicca, they will talk a lot about Scott Cunningham. In the hoodoo world, or in the hoodoo community, conjuring community, Papa Jim, these were the go-to. There's several Papa Jims. And you used to be able to see these little booklets. All right. My first books of magic were the books that were available. This is when I started with magic, and what I found at the time for me, like I said, this is all conjuring. I still wanted to put on my black hat. And that's why you see in my library such this variety of books. Books are like the crossroads that I stand on as I look at the conjuring books, the folk magic books. I look at high magic books, herbalism, even got a couple of things down there on tarot on the bottom. I have the bookshelf down here I didn't get to. This is my tarot. And then, of course, this is my 1970s. These are after those books. The next books I got were the used books at the bookstore. Here's some contemporary paganism. But these were the next witchcraft books that I was exposed to. And then from there it went on to contemporary paganism. And I have just slowly over the years collected what interests me, what I represent. And so I tell all of you witches out there, you know, if you are a book witch, get the books that interest you. Don't worry about what other folks are reading, all right? I do find it interesting when I look at some of the bookshelves and I see some of the other content. Ooh, let me do this. Creators. And I see on their bookshelves very similar books. It's amazing how we all have those synchronistic similarities while we're standing in different places. All right, we all seem to be drawn to some of the same books over and over. I see very similar books in other magic practitioners' libraries. And then I go in and I see they have a completely, a whole section of books. If you're astrology star witch, you would have a whole section on that. If you're tarot, you would have a whole section. Cooking, witchery, I just wanted to know where all the magic is. And that is what my library represents. I hope y'all really enjoyed this. And I'm going to, of course, tell you, go out and fly those brooms. Have a bright, blessed day. Thank all of you out there who've hit that subscribe, hit like, and left a comment. And with that said, amen, bless be, ashe, and ebobo.